pretty much my hero. You know, I looked up to him. You know, I always wanted to be around him and doing things with him. And he was my little league coach and all my baseball and my basketball and all that stuff. And wherever my dad was, that's where I always wanted to be at. And I always knew my dad liked to drink and hang out on the weekends with his friends and things like that. And I never thought much about it. I thought that was just part of life, you know, just hanging out on the weekends and drinking beer. And he used to go out and hang out on Friday and Saturday nights and would stay out all night and would come in the next day, and never thought much about it. But as I got older, you know, those Friday and Saturday nights would turn into Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and would become weeks at a time. And I really never knew what it was. And I knew him and my mom were fighting a lot, and I just thought my dad had a drinking problem. And I can remember when I was about 10, 11 years old, I was digging around in my dad's truck and I found these needles. I knew right then that things were much worse than alcohol, that my dad was a drug addict. And it seemed like from that point on that our lives just went into total chaos. It spiraled out of control. And so I just kind of the whole time just held all these feelings in, you know. I never got mad or angry. I kind of took it as it was, you know. And eventually, you know, we would leave the place that I grew up my whole life with all my friends to move to Dallas. And for my dad, he said that he had to leave where we were living, where I grew up, my little small town, my whole life. And as mad as I was about it, I figured if it would change my dad's life, then it would be okay, it would be worth it. And so we moved to Dallas, and we were living with my aunt and uncle because we had pretty much lost everything we had. And we moved in May, and my dad got a job, and from May to December, for the first time in a long time that I can remember, we were finally happy and we were doing good, and my dad was doing good, and I finally said, well, maybe this is worth it. And so I remember it was New Year's Eve, and my uncle was having a little New Year's Eve party, and I went downstairs and I seen my dad drinking, and I said, well, it won't be long now. My dad will be right back to his old ways. And it wasn't 2 or 3 days later, my dad did show back up from work, and he left. He left to go back to work to Athens, and left me and my mom, my sister, high and dry. And at this point in my life, I came to the conclusion that I was done with my dad. I was tired of every time that things would get to going good, that it just got ruined. He would ruin it for us. I said, I'm done with him. I don't care if he ever comes back around. I'm tired of being hurt, and I'm tired of being in all this pain. And so it wasn't a few months later, my dad would get busted 3 times for dope, and he would eventually give his life to the Lord. And at the time, I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen. My dad getting busted. I figured he'd go to prison and spend the rest of his life there, and I'd just have a dad that was in prison. I wouldn't have a dad. And but it ended up being the best thing that ever happened in my life. My dad gave his life to the Lord, and shortly thereafter I would give my life to the Lord, my mom, and so on and so forth. And immediately after I gave my life to the Lord, I could just feel God putting a calling on my heart, and I wasn't real sure what it was. And I had a youth pastor at the time that said, man, Preston, God's going to use you in a big way. And I really didn't think much of it. I didn't have much confidence in myself. And so life went on. I went through high school, and I was kind of just a half-hearted Christian. I never really fully sold out. And I always had a lot of depression, a lot of anger, a lot of pain. And I really didn't realize what it was or where it came from. I thought it was just the kind of person I was. And so I graduated high school, and I got a job working on the road, and I started hanging out in bars and drinking and doing all the things I said I would never do. And I started getting out of church and not serving the Lord, not reading my Bible. And I met my soon-to-be wife, and God placed her in my life at just the right time. And I realized it didn't take long that I wanted to marry her. But God began to tell me, He said, Preston, you have unforgiveness in your heart towards your dad. And until you release that unforgiveness, you'll never be able to husband or the man that I've called you to be, the father, or any of that. And I really didn't think I had any unforgiveness. I didn't know I had it. But God told me that's where this depression, this anger, and all this junk you have in your life, that's where it comes from. And he began to speak to me about this unforgiveness. And finally, I was just like, God, why do I need to forgive my dad? He said, you don't understand all the things he did to me. I see my dad cook dope, use dope, cheat, lie, steal, and all those things. And I said, man, why does he deserve my forgiveness? And he said, why do you deserve my forgiveness? And right then and right there, I got on my knees and I cried and I wrote a letter to my dad that night. And man, all that junk and all that pain, and it was released, and I just got set free that night. And the man that I used to despise, I couldn't stand to be around more than 5 minutes, he's now my best friend. And me and my dad, the same prisons I used to go spend my Saturdays and Sundays visiting, man, we get to go back in and share a testimony of hope and forgiveness and restoration of how God just changed our lives and wrecked our world, and how God just set us free. And the same people I used to despise, those drug addicts and alcoholics, I get to go minister to on the streets and love on. It feels like I'm born.